Hi, everyone. We got a little late start. I had computer problems, but I'm hoping you're here to join us. We are discussing plein air along with Jacalyn Beam. She is a totally established plein air artist. She's a member of the American Impressionist Society, Oil Painters of America, Washington Society of Landscape Painters, American Artist, Mid-Atlantic Plein Air Painters Association, where she was a board member. So talk about established. She, in my view, is our little treasure. If you understand plein air work, it really just means you're outside painting, but there's huge competitions involved. And a plein air artist travels across the country, is there 2-3 days, has an exhibition, and their work is sold at the end of the expedition. We have just a treasure in Jacalyn Beam, because not only is she painting our beautiful countryside, Chester County, but she lives close by. And here at the gallery, we have so many depictions of Chester County. It's such a treat to view. So please come out. And then also, please welcome Jacalyn Beam. How are you?
Well, hi. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. That was very kind.
Well, I really find like the plein air artists are fleeting. Like they just travel the country. They're in and out, in and out, in and out. And here we have you living under our roof, so to speak, painting away.
Well, I do love the Brandywine Valley. There's no question about it. I've learned a lot traveling the country, and I love traveling the country. I will tell you that next week I'll be painting the bluebonnets in Texas, so I'm looking forward to that. But America is just beautiful.
Yes.
And what a treasure it is to be able to go out and paint it.
Yeah, so now you've definitely caught the attention of the Plein Air Magazine. So tell us about that article. It was the dramatic lighting article, and we actually have that piece that's featured in the Plein Air Magazine. Tell us about that.
Well, every couple issues, they have a certain theme, and they ask people to send them their best work. And the person who was in charge of my area called me and said, Jacalyn, I really want to see a couple pieces of your work. What you have with dramatic lighting. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I had to sort of figure out, well, what really did dramatic lighting mean? Like it was, far out there and really bright. Yeah. And she says, no, it's really about your composition and about how you use the colors. So she said, just send me 2 or 3 copies. So I did. I sent her one that I had just done in Swarthmore, which is, of course, your backyard.
Right.
This Swarthmore Farmers Market. It was I believe it was a June day. I had to stand under a tree. And this is Two Gander Farm. It's their beautiful display of fresh veggies. And in the Downingtown, Swarthmore, Media, Wayne, Malvern area, there's a lot of places that carry Two Gander Farms produce. And so that's the Two Gander Farm stand. And little did I know that they were going to go ahead and publish it in the magazine, which is huge because they get thousands of applicants, as you can imagine. But the other nice part about this is they put it on Bold Brush, which it was in the top 15% of the favorites, and I think had an honorable mention or something at the same time. And this was 100% plein air. It was just standing there under the tree and enjoying the people walk by. If you look down in the lower left corner, there's a lady walking her little white dog.
Oh, that is what I love about this piece is, I love farmers market. I go to the Malvern one, the Westchester one. I was just in Florida. I went to the Delray, Florida one. This painting could have been anywhere. I mean, they all look the same with the tents and the produce and the community coming out. It really is. It captures that essence. So this really could be anywhere, but it is cool that it is local.
Yeah, it's your backyard. And if you look in the middle, there's a young gentleman and an older lady chatting with each other. Do you see it? It's third in from the right, and he's chatting with an older person. So you're right. It's all about the people too, because there's a diverse and engaging community that comes out to these local markets.
Yeah, and I think that's a darn good reason to buy art, is to look at it and experience it, and if it makes it you feel, a sense of community, a sense of happiness, that's why you should buy. No other reason. That it just makes you feel good.
Well, who knows? Maybe somebody is watching today that's in that painting.
That's true. That would be cool. That would be cool. So another magazine was a really fun article with Kate Winslet. And we know she is filming, I think it's called Mayor of Easton, and that it's coming out, I believe, April 18th. So give us the gist of this article. I think this is fun.
Yeah, this was really a gift that Streamline just said, we really want to run this. It's so interesting that you're doing that. The first painting was the Brandywine. I mean, all of these are Brandywine scenes, but that barn, something happens in that barn, and we're not going to find out until Sunday night, or maybe the following Sunday. It's a series on PBS. It does air this Sunday night. Of course, I'm going to be watching it because I want to see what happens in these structures that I've been painting over the past year. It was originally the DuPont turkey farm. They raised turkeys there during World War II and employed soldiers coming home. And then when the DuPonts left that property, it reverted to the state. So now it is a conserved area, and the filming crew loved it so much that they filmed a lot on that property. So that was really special.
So how, you were just, you pack up, you figure I'm going to paint today, you take everything in tow, and then you stumbled upon a movie set. Is that how that played out?
Oh, no, I had been painting there for all year. I mean, I had been painting there for a long time because I have permission to paint there. I signed the waiver. I've talked to the right people, to get on the property. And so I've been documenting it because it's very close to my home. And there's just innumerable ways in which you can position yourself to see the sun. As you can see, this is the afternoon sun. Now that's the building something happened in. I don't know if it was a murder or if there's clues, but one day that's a barn. And then one day I went back and it's like totally cleaned out. You could eat off the floor. So they were obviously getting to film inside. So we'll have to wait. I can't wait to see, the views of these structures on film.
And then we should say, so that's called the mystery, right? You're right. You can actually go online at Gallery222 Malvern.com and see it there along with coming into the gallery. But we have that painting. And then there's also the Brandywine Bridge. Isn't that on the property? That's the Brandywine Bridge.
That's not on the property, but they had filming on several of the bridges. They, one of the opening scenes, and of course it's in the trailers on one of the other bridges, which is right about a mile from here. That's the same Brandywine River that flows through. So if you head back toward that painting, go through it toward the end and about 1 mile down the street up on off of Route 100, which is where this is, you'll definitely see that bridge in the movie because it's on the trailer. This bridge is a good one though because it's right behind the Brandywine River Museum. It's a historical bridge, and I just think it's a quintessential scene.
Well, they did too. They have people scouting sites for movies. So whatever you love about it, I'm sure that's what captured them to actually film there. So that's just so exciting for our little area. That Kate Winslet did you run into her at the local Wawa or anything?
No, I didn't. But the people who were there and who were actually, in the movie as extras and everything said that she was absolutely hysterical and delightful. And certainly they all said wonderful things about her and the film crew. So.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I did see one interview with her, and she was having trouble with the Delaware County accent, which I am Delco proud. I grew up there, and I know exactly what she's talking about because I'll go somewhere and they're like, where are you from? Because it's a little different than, the normal Philadelphia, I guess, area accent. So it's just fun for her, for me to hear her talk about that. I just thought that was it was actually her hardest dialect that for her to conquer. And she's like, and I'm all about it, you know, but she had a hard time. So I thought that was just so cool. So I picked like 3 pieces that we're going to talk about in today's show, because when you come here, Jacalyn, we end up talking for hours, don't we? We just... And I love hearing your stories. So I chose 3 that I just want you to talk about. The first is the swarm catcher. So tell us about this one.
Well, this is one of my favorites. It's a quintessential Brandywine piece. In fact, Andrew Wyeth walked this property many times. It's nested right in the center of things there along the Brandywine, with the right off of, you can see Frolic Way in the background. I was walking this property, friends of ours own it, and I pointed up to this tree and I said, "What is that?" And it was an old paper mache pot with twigs hanging out of it. He smiled and he says, "Well, that's a swarm catcher. The sticks are dipped in the hormones that bees particularly like, and they put the sticks up into this old pot. I mean, it's nothing fancy. And there's a rope on it. The rope is wrapped around the tree. If you get close to the painting, you can see it. When the queen and the bees leave, he wants to draw them back in so they don't go away. So they smell that and they say, we want to come home. And they come in, they go right up into that pot. He takes the pot. They're happy. They're not going to sting him now. They takes the pot down and he dumps the bees back into the hive. Oh,
wow. That is wild. See, you must learn so much on location when you're.
Oh, I do. And I just love this story. Well, all of the paintings have a story of context, time, and place. And there's a wood pile in the bottom left-hand corner. The painting, I think, structurally has a lot going for it. And in person, when you look close at it, you can certainly see that there's more than one twig in the paper mache pot. And also there is a rope and a string that was wrapped around that tree.
So cool. I just love it. I think that's just wild. And I just love you're like a sponge. You take all this information in. I truly love it. So do you want to, yes, let's go to the satisfaction. This is actually one of my favorites, only because it's a different piece for you. And different, I mean, fabulous, just as fabulous, but it definitely has a different feel.
Oh yeah, it was. It has a plein air feel, although I will tell you, I was not standing in front of the water lilies when I did it. I had wanted to, and then I realized, wait a minute, they don't bloom yet. So I had to really think about it. And I put this together for compositionally, color, and just having fun. So I did paint it outside, though. I set up my easel outside in the lawn and looked at the greens on the lawn and the leaves, and thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna try water lily painting from what I remember. I've seen enough of them. I've looked at them. I enjoy them. And so it was purely an artistic endeavor. And it was painted outside, but so
it's plein air.
Yes, but I wasn't looking at the water lilies. So fair disclosure, but I do like it too.
That's funny. So you were outside, but the image was inside your brain.
That's right. And what else makes it very different is it's a much larger piece. When you're out in the field, I typically don't drag this size canvas with me. My canvases are Baltic birch with a linen on the top, conservation linen, and those Baltic birch canvases are pretty heavy. So I normally would not take one this size out into the field.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you did that. That is it's just beautiful. And it's beautiful in person. It's just fabulous. So the last one, Charm. Tell us about this location.
Well, this is the iconic view on Fairville Road. It's the Ann Wyeth McCoy barn. Ann Wyeth, of course, was one of Andrew's sisters. She went to the Southwest, the whole Georgia O'Keeffe scene out there, and met John McCoy. But she, of course, missed the Brandywine Valley and brought him back with her. So she turned this bank barn, which is a traditional German-style bank barn you see all along Chester County, Delaware County, Bucks County. She turned it into her studio, but it was a dual studio because it was a music studio as well as an artistic studio. She was a composer, and her pieces were performed at the Philadelphia Orchestra. And she lived there, and John lived there until they passed, which was not really that long ago in my mind. It's just perched so beautifully on top of this little knoll as you go down Fairville Road, and there's a meandering stream in the front. You don't see it on this painting. You see the structure, but if you visit the gallery and look at the painting very carefully, all of the trees have lots of different colors in them. I use an impressionist palette, meaning I never use brown or black, but the colors are created, the vibrations are created by the hot and the warm colors, and of course the primaries that are mixed in the secondary and tertiary colors.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning, and it's a good size, so that's one thing that I have a hard time, even though we have online, and please visit it, but it's so nice to come to a gallery, and even though you see the dimensions, to actually feel how large it is. And again, this is a little larger for you too, which I love. It's just a beautiful, beautiful piece.
But I thank you, but I did do it on site, and I have a picture of that painting in progress. So I most often take a picture of the piece in the location, because I think it situates it for the client so that they can see it in real time, and it's part of the provenance of the painting that can go on the back for the client.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. So we have talked before. I don't even know when we had this conversation, but it stayed with me, and I thought, oh, this is really cool. You see yourself as a preservationist. Explain that. I just thought that was such a cool idea, because I do love historical buildings, and a lot of times when I see something knocked down, I think, what was there? And I get annoyed that I don't remember what was there. So tell us your feel for that. Like, I loved your insight.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, there's a couple ways that I feel that way. First of all, I do live in a historic area, and I'm drawn to the structures here. They all have a sense of, like I said, time and place and a story behind them. But what I realized when I first started painting was I would go back to the location and the house was missing. I would paint something like in the Five Corners and up along that area off near 202, but it's still considered Westchester and Brandywine Valley area. If an old structure wasn't selling, or if something, it was getting ready to be, it couldn't be renovated, they would just come in with a bulldozer and take it away. I'll never forget the day I drove up to this property. I'm like, wait, where's the house?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Five Corners, which was, historical blacksmith shop and everything. The builder went in and just took out the corner, and, so that's gone. Over time, even the weather, even within a year, depending on what season you see a structure, really changes your color and sometimes your attitude about it. There's things that I've painted and I'm just so excited about it and I like the painting. And then 2 months later, I'll go back and I'll look at it and I'm like, well, gosh, what was I thinking? Because it didn't strike me as I wanted to paint it on that particular day, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to talk about a couple of them. The one with the flag is Tinsman America. It's one of my favorites right there. That's the oldest lumber company in America that is still running. It's right up along the river, and that painting doesn't do the flag justice because the flag is huge. And it really was a showstopper. It's just, I think, a piece of Americana that not only has a history behind it, but also, it's a forever kind of painting.
I love that. So you capture it at the day and time, and it's almost like, talk about one of a kind. I mean, the building may take different shades and form, and it's nice that you're almost documenting it.
Now, the one right there in the middle, it's called Added Up. That is right there. That's the farmhouse that has the additions called Added On. That's the other piece of the property that they filmed on. That was it wasn't the barn, that was the homestead. And of course, during that time period, you know, as families grew and everything, they would add on pieces to the house. So that certainly is a very old structure that's now in preserve.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's a handmade 22 karat gold inset frame on that. These frames, I framed everything in a frame that I would hang in my own home. In fact, actually, these were hanging in my own home. So it's about a year's collection during the pandemic and a little bit before that you have on display right now. It's certainly the most extensive collection and piece of work that I've ever had at one time.
Yeah, well, we are thrilled to have it. And like I said, please come out, see the exhibit, go on Gallery222. Malvern.com. You can buy online. I can deliver it. No contact if you're still apprehensive of coming out. But like Jacalyn said, this is just it goes on till May 1st, and it's just a really great special collection because she's been home. She's not traveling, doing the plein air. So it's an extensive collection of the hillsides of Chester County, and they're beautiful. Each one is beautiful as the next. So please come out. I want to thank you, Jacalyn, for spending time with us. I mean, you are always great to talk to. Like I said, when you come into the gallery, we end up talking for hours, and I learned so much. So I'm so glad I had this opportunity to talk to you.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I want to compliment Gallery222 and you for doing this because, you know, galleries often, I'm just going to say it, they just like put up the paintings and then they expect people to walk in. But this is an interactive way for all of the clients and people who are interested in art to learn more about it and to learn the background of the artist, to meet the artist. And like you said, you don't have to schedule a certain time to come out and meet them. It's not like you have to be at the opening. You can watch this, you know, segment over and over, become engaged and understand the background of what it is that you have on display. And I do think, you know, you really have a wonderful gallery and engage people. And that's what it's about. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. I'll take that compliment. I just feel like I'm interested. I'm excited about it and want to share it. And I love all what you bring to the table. Really, Jacalyn, you're such a talent. Thank you.
Thank you.
So come out before May 1st for sure. Thank you. And then here are our next table talks. We're going to be talking with Mary Beth Kong at 3 o'clock. And then Jeannie Gunthard is the following Wednesday on the 28th, 3 o'clock. Set your calendar, you know, for this Wednesday, 3 o'clock chat. Hours, 11 to 5. Please come in and see. We also have Randall Graham's demo painting sale. So he is a teacher here upstairs. And with all these Zoom calls, he has collected a lot of demos. So it's a great way on a budget to capture a piece of Randall Graham. He's a very huge talent here in this parts. So please, that opens tomorrow at 7 o'clock, online only. Well, you can come in and see some of the demos, but I think people are locked and loaded. A lot of his students are interested in buying a demo. They all have their favorites picked out. They've called me. So definitely, if you're interested, get up early tomorrow and go online at Gallery222Malvern.com. I think that is everything. I hope I didn't miss anything. So thank you all for joining us, and you know, tune in next week, same time. Thanks.